RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
Okie dokie, we're starting early, I know, because we're going to have a simulcast with Robyn Kincaid from headon.live. So, you've joined us at the perfect time. Okay, come on over if you're on any other platform. Come on over to youtube.com/C4channel/Tarabuster, and we will be discussing the last days of the American Republic and everything else that's going on. And this is the time now more than ever for us to stick together and, you know, try to do what we can to stop this, to stop the decline. All right, and it's going to be a challenge. The Republicans won the House, they won the Senate, and the presidency was handed over to a fascist wannabe dictator con man. And also, not just talking about President Musk, also Donald Trump. So, fun times ahead. Hold on, let me call up. I gotta call Robyn on Skype, see if she picks up. And thank you if you are on, I don't know, like I said, become a patron, whatever. I'm you know, the only reason I'm doing the show tonight is because we're doing the simulcast, because I don't know, I'm having a hard time. Okay, yeah, so become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin if you want to keep the real liberal media going and growing. If not, I'll take the hint and fuck off to Ireland. Okay, here we go. And thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, for everything you do to keep the show going and growing. And everyone else, like JD from England, who helps the show, and Haiku, who is a moderator, and Jim, who's a moderator, and Ed, and all the amazing OG Tarabusters. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Knocking shit over. All right, let's call Robyn. Nice to see you, Jim. Nice to see you. I was wondering if people would show up because it is rather early for a Tarabuster. And thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Jim always puts the cover charge on the table. We're going to call Robyn right now. Okay, so let's see. Bing, bang, boom. Bing, bang, boom. Bing, bang, boom. Bing, bang,
I've got a
boom.
clip running. Stand by. I got to get you into the board.
Okay. Oh, shit. Don't tell me I'm frozen.
4 terms on the Armed Services Committee, and I can tell you that even the most experienced general, admiral, CEO that went into the Pentagon got
the
spun
camera's
around
frozen.
in circles.
Hold on,
it's a lot easier to say what you're going to do on a podcast than it is when you're actually over at the Pentagon. And the people that think that generals and admirals that have given their entire life to this country are going to just roll over is a serious misreading of the Pentagon. But we'll see what happens. I mean, people we'll see what he says when he's in front of the Senate. We'll see what we hear in the coming days and weeks. And as Adam Smith said, judge him by what he says then.
Yeah, we heard some Republicans not critical of the pick openly, but wondering about the pick, saying some of the Republicans now saying, I don't even know who he is. But I think it's very telling that they're not coming out publicly and criticizing it. That's the power of Trump. These men and women in the Senate, these men and women in the House don't want to cross him. They believe he is swept in with a mandate. And whatever he does,
here's your mandate.
We'll see how they vote. We'll see the questions they pose when, as you say, when it comes down to confirmation time. But at least publicly, we're not hearing Republicans critical of this choice, which, to put it mildly, surprised a lot of people, not just in Washington, but across the country. Let's bring in NBC News national security editor David Rowe. David, good morning. What reaction are you hearing to this, at least nomination to be Secretary of Defense?
It is a surprise, and I think as the clips like the one that you played come out, it's going to raise major issues. There are women in combat. Women who engage in ground combat have to take physical tests. Can they pick up and carry another soldier who's wounded is one of them. And most of all, there are very large numbers of women who are combat pilots, very experienced ones. And so, again, I think, he should have his hearings and he should, talk through these ideas, but they're more, I guess, talking points, political talking points, versus the concrete realities of these policies. So it isn't a surprise that there's been good, I think, picks that are more centrist, like Marco Rubio, that have been, I think, seen in a positive light by national security experts.
I know.
Marco Rubio.
Have they met him?
Now.
Yes,
Oh
he's
my God.
he's a centrist. He's a rational pick.
Yeah.
Right.
Rational pick.
Right.
This was such a
God,
setup.
fucking help us.
Hey, Tara.
Hello, Robin. We're over.
This was such a setup. We watch Morning Joe every morning.
Mm-hmm. I've been having a hard time, just in general, watching it because they seem too happy, to tell you the truth, to me. Like they seem to taking this in stride. That's what. Yeah. I don't know.
But this was all such a setup. Oh, this is a wacky pick, Pete Hexus.
Right.
I think I expect to turn it on tomorrow morning and find Joe and Mika sitting there with puffing a can of gasoline together.
Oh God. You sound a little low to me in my headphones.
Better?
Yeah, everyone's saying your volume is low.
Yeah, let me make sure.
Are you speaking into the mic? Yeah, everyone on the chat. I'm having a hard time hearing you too. So, and I made you very. I just put the whole thing.
Well, I
up.
have to take into account what's going on with my audio
Right.
interface here.
It sounds better.
If I push it any further, I'll be overdriving,
Okay.
and then I'll get hate mail from the horn community.
Yeah, it sounds a little better.
Good.
I don't know. I mean, we've been. It's been fine other times. I don't know. I don't know what's going. You know how it is.
We'll just find a happy medium to.
Yeah. I know. How you feeling?
I'm trying to find a silver lining for the next 4 years until they come and drag me away to the camps for
Yeah.
being a transy.
Right.
I'm not going to want for material.
No, that's
and
the
we're
truth.
Gonna have plenty. We're going to have plenty to talk about.
Well, that's the sad part too. But we've never been at a loss for material, even when he's not when he wasn't in office, and they were in the, a reasonable, not full minority. But now they have everything yet again, just like in the first time. See, when he first got into office, Traitor Trump had the 3 branches of government then too. And they passed the tax scam. And they also tried to repeal Obamacare, and, they weren't successful with that.
And we saved it by the narrowest of margins.
Yeah, because of John McCain by 1 vote.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I was thinking of today, too. It's just the stress, the constant stress for my entire life, having to just watch these fuckers play with, if I want to keep it to myself, with my health care constantly. The relief I felt when we passed Obamacare, I was like, great, finally, I'll be able to get health insurance, and then they started fucking with it. Remove, like Marco Rubio. No one ever gives credit where credit's due. We always forget, everything falls down the memory hole. How he did away with those risk corridors. So everyone will go, oh, it's so expensive, meaning that the federal government was going to pay these fucking for-profit ghouls to take on sick people as well. Right. And not pass on the premium hikes to the people, right? So, but he did away with that. And that's what they do. They go in, it's like they play the game of Jenga, and they pull out the pieces that make the thing stand up until it all comes crumbling down. But everybody, instead of giving credit where credit's due, instead of pointing the finger at Marco Rubio, they're like, oh, Obamacare, my premiums are so high. Well, thank Marco fucking Rubio. But nobody ever does that, and the media doesn't point them in the right direction either, right? No one's correcting them.
No. And before we joined up, I had the clip from MSNBC and Katie Turable talking to Jake Sherman, where they were, the Senate will never confirm Matt Gay.
Really?
I
know. What are they talking about? I never thought they would let a con man, a rapist, a man who sent a mob to kill them. I never thought that they would make him the goddamn standard bearer of their party, right, and then he would win.
It's like something that our dear friend Joy in Ann Arbor wrote to me the other day and said, I'm just sitting around waiting for someone to walk Incitatus into the Senate.
I wish. If only.
Under the reign of Caligula, there was talk of Caligula wanting to make one of his prized horses a member of the Senate.
Right.
Rome.
Well, he said that, and I think it was done more tongue-in-cheek. It's come down to us as another clue of his madness, but he's like, I should make my horse would be a better senator, So that's probably really, but not that he wasn't a madman anyway, and that's, where we're headed, really. If he's shoving all of his family members into positions of authority. It's just,
did
imagine.
You see the other, I forget who it was that said it in the last day or so, but one of the maggots in the House said, "Well, when Marco becomes Secretary of State, Governor DeSantis should name Laura to be his replacement."
Laura Trump?
She's proven herself.
Oh, no. And they would, though. They would. Because they have zero respect for the government that so many people fought, bled, and died. The founders fought, bled, and died to create and entrust to us. They have zero respect for it. And this can trace us right back, to Reagan. They've been dismantling the government, framing this disdain for government for, of course, my entire life and before, because this is how we got here. It starts with the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
And I'm here to help.
Right, and it ends with putting Lara Trump, making her a senator, or, there's nothing serious going on here. And, having this effing con man as the president. It's disgusting. It's such a disgrace. It is such an embarrassment. And somebody posted I saw on Facebook, somebody were, can't we all just agree to disagree or whatever? No.
Nope.
No.
Sorry, can't do that.
We all, it's not, a polite, let's just all it's not a polite disagreement on simply whatever politics that.
No.
Okay.
No. That's the thing. A disagreement is. Ew, you like anchovies on pizza?
Yeah.
I hate anchovies.
Right. What are you talking about? Pineapple pizza? What is that?
Yeah, right. And so, but this ain't that. This is. You are actively voting against the well-being of your entire country.
Yes.
And
the
voting
future.
To shit on people that you know.
Right. People you know.
You claim to care about.
Right. That's the other thing.
But proved with your vote that you damn well didn't.
You're right. I have trans people in my family. I'm gay. There's gay people in the family. It doesn't matter to my family members. I don't even want to know. I have a suspicion, of who voted. And I was talking to my aunt yesterday because I was like, just railing my poor aunt. She's like, you better calm down. You better calm down. She's like, you're going to have a stroke. But I'm like, I don't even want to know. I said, you are my fucking enemy. If you have voted for this person, you are my enemy. Because what does that say?
Explain to me how me not being calm is the problem.
Right. Yes. This is the time to not be calm. They voted for somebody who said he's going to be a dictator, and on the backs of the hate and division and targeting minority groups and oppressing women and oppressing, anyone who's different and shoving their fake love of the Bible down everyone's throats. If only they were Christian. If only, because we wouldn't be in this problem. They'd leave people the fuck alone. They would go and pray in their closets like the Jesus they pretend to worship told them to. They don't ever listen to the expressed orders of the Savior they pretend to worship. They in fact do everything opposite that he said. He talked about the hypocrites who like to pray in front of everybody and get the pats on the back. Well, he's talking about them. They're sitting there. They fall to their knees in the well of the chamber of the house. And for all the cameras there, look at what good Christians they are. And they've devolved this Christianity, this fake love of Jesus, into nothing but bashing gays, bashing trans people, and putting women in their place.
No,
yes.
Sorry.
But and putting women in their place, in their natural place. That's what it means. That's what it means to be Christian now. It's not, loving your neighbor. It's not, feeding the hungry, going and visiting people in prison, giving to the, like generosity. Not Jesus talked about welcoming the stranger. These fuckers are like, when the stranger comes, they meet them with a mob chanting, "You're not welcome. You're not welcome." That's what they did on Staten Island. All these good Christians. Because it's so much easier to kick down, as they beg these billionaires for a trickle. Like these billionaires, they don't see the scam right in front of their stupid faces. That's what gets me too, because they see scam and they sees scams everywhere here, but they see scams, they see conspiracy theories. Conspiracies they abound, right? But they're all against the poor put upon con man with the fake university and the fake multi-level marketing vitamin scam, the NFTs, the fake Trump bucks, the history of sexual assault who stole classified documents and moved them from shitter to ballroom to storage facility, back to the shitter, back to the storage facility. Everyone's always picking on him. The one who had to pay off the porn star because he didn't have sex with her while his wife, his third trophy wife, was home recovering from childbirth. And then tried to pay her off again most recently, because she didn't. She wasn't telling the truth. He didn't have sex with her. She wasn't telling the truth. It's like these people that see the conspiracies up every goddamn wazoo don't see the conspiracy right in front of them. Make the rich richer. Destroy pesky democracy once and for all. So the rich can steal. So billionaires, so Elon Musk doesn't have to worry about any, whatever, regulations, smegulations, and, there's no decency. There's no, the government, what do they have? The Office of Government Efficiency now? This is coming.
Are we going to create that legislatively? Or
right.
Is this just going to be an ad hoc affair?
Probably not. Yeah. They'll
Love
just...
your coffee mug.
Oh, I know. Cheers.
Yay.
So, they don't... Oh, and let me ask a question. I'm a little confused. He's not the fucking president yet, okay?
No.
These fuckers... this is why they're delusional. They're putting out all kinds of statements. President Trump says this. President Trump says that. He's not the fucking president. He's a fucking president-elect. But there you go. Different rules.
This is advanced obedience.
Yes, you're right. And, President Trump wants recess appointments. He's not fucking sworn in. He's not the president.
Interesting you would bring that up, though, because over on Chicken Noodle News, hard-hitting journalist Jake Tapper.
Oh, jeez.
I remember the debate. You?
Yeah, right.
Hard-hitting doormat Jake Tapper asked Chris Murphy of Connecticut about this whole recess appointment thing, and well, it's worth giving a look.
He's on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Senator, the breaking news, the pick of Congressman Matt Gaetz to be the next U.S. Attorney General, your reaction?
Well, I was walking off the Senate floor just moments ago when the news was announced. You could literally hear the jaws dropping to the floor of Republican senators who are now going to be in a position to stand up to Donald Trump in a way that they've been unwilling. That case is dangerously unqualified, but that's not the worst of it. Gaetz has been...
Get it out of your system, Republican. And it was the same thing over on MSNBC. Oh, the Republican senators are horrified. They're going to stand up to Donald Trump.
When has that happened ever? And the fact that they're even talking
the one who did
like
is
that.
Dead.
Yes, that's right. The one who did is dead, and everyone else doesn't care how much the con man, the freak, disparages him at any moment. They have no honor. These people. They deserve him, really, but we don't.
And I don't know if Murphy will mention it, but over on MSNBC it was like, wow, Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins and maybe Joni Ernst.
Oh God, no. The delusion. I guess let's all just play along like this is normal, right? Normalize him, sane wash him, as they've been doing, as they did, and here we are. Really, they brought us this.
Yeah, sure. Let's I had some quote from Mike Lee, constitutional scholar, the other day. Last time I heard of him, he was shitting his pants under a desk on January the 6th, 2021. But well, it's all better now.
Right.
Okay, back to Senator Murphy.
Trump's chief defender when it comes to Trump's assault on democracy, his attempts to overthrow the government on January 6th, and he has openly called for the abolition of law enforcement agencies if they don't get in line with conservative political priorities. This is going to be a red alert moment for American democracy. Matt Gaetz is being nominated for one reason and one reason only, because he will implement Donald Trump's transition of the Department of Justice from an agency that stands up for all of us to an agency that is simply an arm of the White House designed to persecute and prosecute Trump's political enemies. This is a stunning announcement in some ways, but not surprising in others, because Trump told us during the campaign that he was going to use the White House to go after people who politically opposed him. And it seems that this pick for the head of the Department of Justice is very much in line with the promises he made during the campaign.
Senator, what do Republicans have now, assuming that McCormick is the winner of Pennsylvania, which I think everybody except for Bob Casey has acknowledged? 54 Republicans, is that right?
Well, I don't know. It may be 53 in the end. I mean, listen, there are some
60.
very decent human beings in the Republican conference who maybe didn't stand up publicly in the way that we had.
What?
Here we go again.
There are decent ones?
Here we go again. We need a viable Republican Party.
Uh-huh. Who's done so much good for America?
Who are the decent ones? Are the decent ones
They're gone.
Ron Johnson? How about Tommy the Tuber? Is he a decent one?
Is he decent? I mean,
how about Tim Scott? Is he decent?
Right.
or
any of them?
Stunner. Lady G, decent.
Yeah.
How about Katie Brett from Alabama? Is she decent?
Well, they like to pretend. They like to act as if.
Marsha Blackburn, is she decent?
Well, people's, well, I guess they don't have this quote. It's an anonymous. Are you shitting me? A Republican, one of the Republicans said, well, about, Getz being the once under investigation for sex trafficking of minors, the head of the AG. Okay. I honestly, like when I was talking to my aunt last night and screaming into her poor ear, I was saying, I can't wait until these fuckers feel the pain, of what they have caused. But sadly, good people are going to get hurt too. That's what hurts me. The good people.
Well, that's the thing. You can't take any schadenfreude in what's coming for the maggots, because it's coming for us too.
Yeah, it's coming for all of us, and we don't deserve this. And this whole fucking mandate shit. He didn't win, by an amazing amount. This isn't like Reagan or
is it
FDR.
Is it just me, or did he got less votes this time through than he got in 2020?
He did, yes. And they're still counting votes from California, so the margin's going to get slimmer.
Yeah. Last I checked, we've got a friend out in Humboldt County, Dave number 11. He and his lovely wife mailed their ballots in on the same day. Hers was registered, received the next day. His is still MIA.
Oh wow! See, well, I mean, there you go.
For every video we had of a fire at a ballot drop box, how many videos of them did we not have?
Yes, and voter suppression, it works. These people, they were calling in bomb threats.
And the soft voter suppression works too.
Yes, exactly. So how many people who were afraid because of the bomb threat never went back to the polling booth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
We don't know. And
look at the I had our pal Micah sent me a graphic, was it yesterday, the day before? Vote count from East Dearborn, Michigan, where Joe Biden just walloped the shit out of Trump in 2020. And this time through, Trump won East Dearborn. Jill Stein came in second.
What? No. Really?
Yes.
No.
And Kamala came in third. Because they were going to teach the Democrats a lesson about Gaza.
Oh, God. Yeah, well, now Gaza's going to disappear, you stupid fucks. You think he's going to do shit about Gaza?
And yesterday,
they're going to nuke the goddamn joint.
Yesterday, I mentioned the fact that his Middle East envoy is going to be one of his golfing real estate buddies.
What?
Who? Witkoff, Steve Witkoff.
Of course.
And he's a friend of Psycho Bibi Netanyahu. And he's literally a real estate developer and investor.
Right. It's a smash and grab.
Casinos, visit lovely Gaza. Come to our casino by the sea.
Right. Absolutely. That's what they want, they're committing genocide to, for beachfront property. Here we go. And you saw that Putin, apparently the traitor Trump was like, don't do any escalation, right? Because he's such a tough guy. And Putin immediately sent thousands of troops, amassing them at the border, along
with Koreans.
With the North Korean allies. Right, exactly. So,
yeah. Well, I we didn't really get a chance to talk much earlier today. Are you aware of this New Republic article? Our buddy Mike in Cascadia sent this along toward the end of the program yesterday. A chief advisor aide to Putin gave an interview to a Russian business magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the pull quote. To achieve success in the election, Donald Trump relied on certain forces which he has corresponding to which he has corresponding obligations. As a responsible person, he will be obliged to fulfill.
What? Say that again? I'm trying to absorb it.
To achieve success in the election, Donald Trump relied on certain forces to which he has corresponding obligations.
Oh, mm-hmm.
As a responsible person, he will be obliged to fulfill them.
Yes, a responsible person. Well, more like
obliged
to
fulfill
more
them.
Like a paid ass, bought and paid for bitch.
Well, I mean, for the longest, when the PP tape came out all those years ago now, people immediately began to mischaracterize it, saying that he paid hookers to pee on him, and that's the way he characterized it. I'm a total germaphobe. Why would I ever do something like that? Believe me. That wasn't what the initial intel was. It was that he paid Russian hookers to pee on the bed where Barack Obama and Michelle Obama slept.
Right, not on him.
Okay. But that probably wasn't the real compromise. That was just a little reminder that they had something. And he has, because the stuff that's run under the radar all this time has been that Mother Russia has video of him having sex with underage girls.
Of course.
In St. Petersburg.
Yeah, no doubt.
It would be terrible if video came out.
It would be. It would be awesome, really, actually.
You will be lifting sanctions now.
Right. Yes. There's something nefarious happening there, and I think Russia has compromised on Republicans. They must. I mean, they're all such.
Well, again, this is a time for us to remind everyone. Way back when they hacked the DNC server and turned it over to WikiLeaks, they also hacked the RNC server.
Right.
And they did not turn that data over. They kept it for compromise.
Right.
They've probably, I mentioned it before you came on air, I guess they've probably got a binder full of rent boys, that Miss Lindsay has hired along the way.
And, well, he is well known as, that's why they call him Lady Graham, according to the rent boys. That's
Lady G.
Yeah. Lady G. All right. Well, that's what happens when you're a coward and too scared to live an authentic life because you're part of a hypocritical death cult that hates humanity and decency and freedom, and everything that actually makes America great. They stand against. Like, I find it, it's infuriating to me, and this is why I wish the media and in general Democrats would have framed the fact that, for example, Russia's paying those podcasters, right-wing podcasters. Why are they paying? They're spending money funding right-wing podcasts to get Trump elected. All of these across the board, right-wing, bro podcasts literally being funded by Russia. And why didn't the Democrats, continue to pound that? Because to me,
they got scared.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's.
He was saying mean, hurtful things about them, and it scared them.
It's just such another missed opportunity, because to me, it's, if you're a patriot and you find out that, fuck you, like these anti-democratic foreign dictators are pouring lies there, and these assholes are sharing it. They're pouring all sorts of disinformation, misinformation to trigger people, to divide people, and these right-wingers are sharing it. And, they're not upset by this. Then they find out this is coming from Russia, and they're like, because they've been thoroughly propagandized by the con man, who is a Russian fucking agent, really. They say, oh, it's fake news. No, it's not. Why is Putin and all the America-hating dictators, on earth celebrating Trump's win and the Republicans win. It's because, why? They love freedom and democracy. They care about your fucking kitchen table issues, that you're paying $3 for eggs. You're a dumbass. That's the literal definition of a useless idiot. And I call them useless idiot because they may be useful for Putin.
Right, yeah.
They're useful for Putin, but they're certainly not useful for democracy. And as a patriot, if you call yourself a patriot, wouldn't you be offended that these right-wing dictators all over the world are trying to influence you like that? You'd be like, fuck off.
I had occasion to talk with a Trump voter today.
Oh, no.
Someone I've known for decades.
You poor bastard.
And I think, every now and then we'll get a clip on the for-profit media, and we go, oh, but until you've had a significant interaction, you really do not begin to comprehend how far gone they are.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm gonna regret this, but I'm gonna read something.
Please.
I don't think. There it is. You listen to left-leaning media too much. Trump did not lie. He didn't lie first term. He won't lie this term.
What?
He would. Hold on. Breathe. He was the best president since Reagan. In my opinion, he's better than Reagan. He has this country in good shape 4 years ago. Biden and Harris were absolutely the worst administration in our country's history. Everything that they broke, Trump and Vance will fix. The Democrats and left-leaning media are the liars and the egomaniacs. It's a good thing the Republicans are going to control all the branches of government. They'll finally be able to fix everything the Democrats broke.
Wow. Where are they getting? Who is this person? First of all, let's start there.
It's a dear friend of mine that I've known since 1983.
Wow. And where are they? I guess I don't have to ask where they're getting their information from. They're the ones listening to Russian-funded disinformation.
Yes, there's so much out there. Fox, Newsmuck, Onan, the network that spills its news upon the ground. That website that rhymes with light and fart. The man who looks like rancid hot dog water smells. It's so easy to radicalize them. And so even we touched on this a moment ago, Tara. It would be easy to sit back and say, well, let the chickens come home to roost.
Yes.
But we're all in the same goddamn coop.
Exactly.
Okay?
That's the problem.
We are. And so there was a podcast from the New York Times, but it was Nobel laureate and columnist Paul Krugman. And in this podcast, he said, as an economist, there's a great irony here, which is that the biggest single factor in Trump's victory was the fact that there was a burst of inflation. It's in the rearview mirror now, but people are still annoyed at how much things cost. And yet, Trump's economic program, as far as we can tell, is the most inflationary program probably that any American president has ever tried to implement. So he went on and went through the particulars and said, so the food on your table is largely put there by immigrants, many of whom will end up being deported. What's going to happen is that farm owners are going to have to pay much, much higher wages to get people to do those jobs, which the farmers will have to pass on in the form of higher prices. And then I have very little reason to believe that Trump will acknowledge that his policies are actually producing inflation, much more likely that he'll start putting pressure on government statistical agencies to report better numbers. That is what autocratic regimes have done around the world in the past. So even when those precious fucking eggs go to $10 a dozen again,
right,
it'll be Joe Biden's fault.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's the thing. That's why I'm just waiting
Or
for
because
them.
Kamala failed as borders
Yep.
are.
Yep. I mean, these are
Because
people.
they don't live in reality world. I want them to feel this shit. I want them to ache all the way down to the center of their bones with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to look at them and say, "Hey, sunshine, you chose this. Remember those banners, Trump will fix it, and you believed it? You dum-dum?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Here's the fix. There was a fix, and it was in, and you're the chump.
Yep.
But you don't even have the brain power to realize it."
Yep. They'll realize it, but yeah, right. They because I keep saying you lost too, but you're just too stupid to know it yet. But they will never know it. They will constantly find some kick down scapegoat for them to focus on, because they don't, like I was saying earlier, they don't see the actual conspiracy right in front of their face, which is as old as human history. It's make the rich richer, keep the working class divided, especially along racial lines. And, like, these are people that think that the person who delivers their DoorDash is the problem, not Elon Musk, not, the ones making the policy, not the ones buying.
Not the Dick Rocket billionaire.
Yeah. Literally buying, spending billions of dollars to buy government. Why? Why would you do that? If government is the problem, because government's the only thing large enough, or at least we hoped in the inception of a liberal democracy, we hoped that it would stand in the way of these big moneyed interests, the privileged princes of the new economic royalists that can reach out and grab government itself. But government's the only entity that can stand in the way and tell it to play nice with the plebs. And no, that's why they dismantle it. These fucking assholes, they're constantly telling me, like, whenever I see one of these Trump antis, they're like, well, people have voted for low taxes and deregulation, which will make businesses be able to make unfettered innovation, and like as if regulation.
Hey, dum-dums, wouldn't you like to just make more money per hour?
Yeah, but
I mean, I was chatting with a friend a couple of nights ago, and I said, dig it. When I was in college, riding my dinosaur back and forth, the minimum wage was $3.35 an hour. That was 1985. So that's 40 years ago. In those 40 years, the minimum wage has made it, the federal minimum wage has made it all the way up to what, $7.25 an hour?
Mm-hmm.
Or that's what it is here in West Virginia. That's a little over double in 40 years. That doesn't keep up with inflation. Yep. But you can't get these hypnotized maggots to realize that the real power is in their labor.
Mm-hmm.
And something Flavio mentioned a little bit ago, on our Filthy Morning Habit, there was Joe and Mika and Barnacle sitting there talking about, we should have paid more attention to the guy with the new F-150 who can only afford to fill half a tank. I mean, do you know how many gallons an F-150 tank holds?
No.
I mean, like 30. It's a 30-gallon tank in most instances.
Mm-hmm.
At least 25. Now do the math. That's a $75 fill-up or a $90 fill-up. Whose fault is it? Is it the asshole who bought a gas-guzzling pickup truck? Or is it maybe the global spot price of light sweet crude? No, it's Biden. and it's Kamala Harris's fault because I have the economic understanding of sphagnum peat moss. It comes down to education. And again, it's Annie Sullivan with Helen Keller at the pump, you know, the pumping and the water and the WATER, Helen Water, it has a name. And, you know, the maggots keep looking up at the pump and going, lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they can't learn, it is that they refuse to learn because it hurts their feelings to think they might have been wrong about something. And wow, were they wrong. And they're afraid we're going to, and you know, I follow things like Project 2025 award on Reddit and leopards eating people's faces on Reddit, or leopards eating faces. And they're already there. Why are you all being so mean to us? Why won't you come to Thanksgiving dinner? Why aren't we welcome at Thanksgiving dinner? A family should transcend politics. Oh no, I said trans.
Right.
And so, you know, the party of the party of personal responsibility is interested in precisely zero personal responsibility.
Right.
And it's so frustrating. Just to go back to Chris Murphy here, because the thing is, there's a comment tucked away in this interview about all this recess appointment stuff, and it might make things a little bit more clear.
At hope, but they are going to be faced with a very difficult decision. Many of them know Matt Gaetz. They know the investigations that he has been under. They know the fact that he is, you know, essentially a media celebrity who is just out to try to benefit and boost himself. We will see whether they do what they've been unwilling to do thus far during this calendar year, stand up for democracy, stand up to Donald Trump.
But ultimately, don't you think he's going to be confirmed? I mean, don't you think that all of the Senate Republicans are going to vote for President Trump's nominees? I mean, do you really think any of them are going to vote against Huckabee to be ambassador to Israel, or Tulsi Gabbard to be Director of National Intelligence, or Pete Hegseth to be Secretary of Defense, or Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General? I mean, can you really think of, can you name one Republican that will vote against any of those individuals?
Well, I mean, obviously, some of this news is breaking within the last 10 minutes. So, you know, I can't come on air and try to guess about the votes of my colleagues. I will talk to them over the course of the next few days and make the case that maybe the most important nomination at this moment is the nomination for Attorney General, right? The entire credibility of government rests upon the belief that law enforcement is there to protect all of us, that it is an independent entity that is not just to be used at the political whim of the president. Matt Gaetz is being nominated because he will be and is today a political agent of Donald Trump.
They
the
all are.
Of this particular pick, are stunning and potentially cataclysmic for American democracy. I hope that some Senate Republicans will see that.
So there's also another option, which we haven't discussed, which is that President-elect Trump has made it clear that he would like the Senate to adjourn so that he can make recess appointments. And the brand new Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, like the other two people he was running against, all three of them said, sounds good, like it. So it's entirely possible, unless there's some Democratic maneuvering that I don't know about, that they'll just adjourn, right? The majority will just vote to adjourn, and then Donald Trump will just say, okay, recess appointment, all these people, especially and including Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. No?
Well, I mean, that would be, you know, the end of the United States Senate. If the Senate chose to end its power of advice and consent and just allow the president to choose without any input or confirmation process or approval his cabinet, I don't know why we would continue to show up for work. That's not a democracy anymore. Our founding fathers would be, you know, rolling over in their graves. So listen, this is all happening very fast, Jake. We're going to have conversations in the Senate, especially with the handful of Senate Republicans who do care about American democracy. and see if we can come to some conclusions to make sure that we preserve the power of the device.
Go. You're about to have a fit, Tara.
What
I
is
told you there was a little nugget buried in there.
Wow. I mean, hello. Has he been watching the decline and fall of the American experiment in the last decade because of this excuse, this poor excuse for a party? It's like it is gaslighting in the highest order. It is the definition of gaslighting to pretend as if the Republican Party has any interest in maintaining a functioning democracy when this is what they've given to us, what they've inflicted on us, in spite of decency, in spite of law, in spite of the Constitution, in spite of everything that is staring them right in the face. They know what he is. In fact, they know more. They see the unclassified stuff. They know what a danger he is. But, we're in this boat. That just proves to me, again, that we're here because of the media. They have brought us to this, to this decline. Really. It really is. That's why, the Russians and America's enemies spend money. What do they do? They're not spending money. I don't know, in any other way. They're not. They're spending money on propaganda.
Troll farms are cheaper than guns and bullets.
Exactly. And they can sit back and laugh and watch these idiots share the meme. They do the work for them.
And we're back to Nikita Khrushchev.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What was it? We will conquer you without firing a shot.
Exactly. But when if you want to give credit where credit's due, it all comes down, of course, both parties brought us here. Yes, because of deregulation, and that's why when these people who voted for Trump say, oh well, some people, they want low taxes and deregulate. It just shows me that they really have swallowed the bullshit. They're deregulation. How many houses have to fall down on your stupid head until you realize maybe we should regulate this? How many cases of explosive diarrhea do you need until you think, maybe we should regulate our food supply or our water supply? Maybe things should need to be regulated because obviously, corporations, people in general, greed gets in the way and people get killed.
It does, and it's interesting you would mention that because from right here in almost level west by Cold Trump Virginia-stan, we have a drinking water recall.
Okay.
150,000 1- and 5-gallon bottles of water from Berkeley Springs have been recalled, and they were distributed in West Virginia, Maryland, and Virginia. They've been recalled because of the presence of what the publication to politely as coliform bacteria.
Mm-hmm. How'd that get there?
Somebody shit in the water.
What? They shit? Oh, what was it? I thought you said chloroform.
Coliform bacteria is E. coli.
Oh, okay.
E. coli comes from feces.
From shit. Okay. Yes, I know that. I do.
Yeah, and I guess the bosses needed a little bit more money in their bonus.
Right.
So maybe they just weren't looking the day that somebody went and took a dump upstream.
Yeah,
actually, to cause the recall of 100 and do the math, it would be at least 150,000 gallons of bottled water. That's a lot of poop.
Mm-hmm. Well, people must have been.
But it's a triumph of capitalism.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna whatever that company is, it's gonna be. Yeah, until it went sideways, it was going to be great for the quarterly.
Yes, well, that's it. I mean, I always think about the Pinto car, how the internal documents where they were I guess it was before email at the time, but they were writing and saying that it would be less money to settle lawsuits for people who had died in their Pinto than it would be to recall the cars and build them safely.
Right. Yeah. So we'll just let them blow up.
Yeah. So, and that's what happened. And a lot of people, how many people had to blow up until, they were recalled and fixed, and regulations come out of this. It doesn't just come out like, oh, we're just going to put a lot of red tape here. It comes out because people die. People fucking jumped out of the windows of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. And that's why we have regulations, building occupancy codes, and that how you can't lock the fucking fire doors and shit like that.
We used to have a vigorous Mine Safety and Health Administration. Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah. Well, sanitation laws, that came out from all the, these go way back, of course. And, it doesn't come about because, let's make regulations to, hold people back by their bootstraps. That's why they're so babyish. It's such an infantile view of the world. And these are the people that are always like, we mistrust, like they distrust government. They've been told to distrust government so much, but they trust corporations somehow, as if, like Elon Musk has their best interest at heart when he's sharing, anti-Semitic QAnon memes and whatnot, and, letting Nazis run rampant all over Twitter, right? Why they think that guy gives a shit about them. And the other thing, they have this government, as we're saying, this government efficiency, Office of Government Efficiency, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. I just got to ask, as an aside, because to me, these people, maybe I'm very irritating to people, I don't know. I probably am to right-wingers, but these people are like a rake on a chalkboard to me. I cannot stand them. Who wants to hear them, be around them, their smarminess, their arrogance, their horrible personalities, they're horrible people who selfish and self-aggrandizing and fucking tediously dumb. He's supposed to be a genius, this asshole. Yeah, he's no genius. He's certainly a genius at getting government contracts by bullshitting people. That's for sure. And hoodwinking everyone. But, he's this government efficiency. What does that mean? He's going to fire people. And he's already said it, that they're going to fire people. So,
right.
Okay.
You're fired.
That's efficient.
This is the Apprentice White House edition. You're fired.
And these people, they think it's not going to affect them when it comes for them. Because they're like out of their minds if they think they're going to be safe from, the sting of the lash of what's coming. And they as if, just because you voted for it, it's the famous quote, he's not hurting the people he needs to be hurting. When Trump shut down the government, and, a Trump voter was shocked that she was also furloughed and couldn't make her rent. And said to the reporter, he's not hurting the people he needs to be hurting, right? He's hurting me. And so they're going to be hurt, but, they're going to feel it. And then what's his face? Musk says, oh, well, don't worry, they're going to get like 2 years severance. And no one in the media follows up at all, of course. Of course, it's hard to follow up with every ridiculous thing they say. But the fact is, he's got like lawsuits coming out of his ass because he doesn't pay the severance to the people he's fired in all of his companies. They're suing him.
Yeah, and speaking of efficiency, I saw a headline today. Twitter, as of like now, is worth 25% of what it was of what he paid for it.
Wow. That's
in other words,
efficient.
he has lost 75% of the value.
Oh, he's gonna make it up though when he's our federal treasury. He's been hanging out with Trump. He's going everywhere, and I think that we should start simply calling him President Musk because he is the president. He's effectively the president. He's getting on the phone with Zelensky. He's putting him on the phone. I mean, who the fuck is this guy? This piece of shit.
I wonder how the real Dim Shady feels about that.
Right. Yeah. But that's what I mean. Trump he doesn't like.
I'm the vice president.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a book and stuff.
Yes. And Trump doesn't like anybody who takes his spotlight. How long will it be until they're at odds? Because that's the one saving grace in a way, is what I'm really counting on.
Fascists always eat each other.
Yes, and you see it in the Third Reich. You see it in Hitler. They were always at each other's throats.
Ernst Röhm, anyone?
Yes, and Hitler encouraged that. He's kind of like Trump, and I mean Trump is like him, and because he would make them compete for his attention.
Yeah.
And
come on, let's you and him fight.
That's what he did, and that's what I think Trump does too. And they're all willing to do it. They're at each other's throats. They will stab each other in the back because these are not really exceptional people. They may have money and have been born on third base thinking they hit a triple, and they lack any decency or integrity. So they were able to get compromise everything decent to get near to power, but they're not really that impressive. And this is the thing. And that's the thing with Trump, too. He's really not a very impressive person, and he knows it. He's not very talented. He's not funny. He's not a great raconteur. He doesn't, he's got the vocabulary of a 12-year-old. And he holds the rapt attention of, who? Idiots, useless idiots.
Yeah.
He doesn't hold the attention of people who are actually worthy and intelligent and know what the hell they're talking about, because to them, and he's a mind-numbingly stupid person, and he is.
Yeah.
But he knows that somewhere in his sociopathic lack of a soul, he knows that. That's why he's so easily triggered when people, he's got to hit back 10 times harder. When somebody, right. I mean, this is a guy who, I remember in 2016, I remember remarking that he was retweeting these obscure accounts of people that had like 15 followers that would say, "You're the greatest, you're the best." Like they would just pour their heap this embarrassing praise on him, and he would retweet it. And I was like, who is this person? It's a nobody, but it matters to him that he's being
fawned over.
Yeah, that's it. That's
By
all
the way,
you gotta do.
Going back to regulations, Micah sent this in. In the aviation biz, we always said regulations are written in blood.
Wow.
And that's so true.
There you
go. A little bit
go.
ago, with the clip from Chris Murphy, Darlene in Connecticut said, "Tara, I've felt gaslighted since last Tuesday night."
Yes.
And just a couple of other emails as they roll in. Sylvie, the Committee for Surrealism in Everyday Life report. I know that people need some good news now. Well, it may not be much, but today my client, who is a wheelchair user for the past 13 years, in physical therapy today, walked 12 feet with a walker. I am so happy for her.
That's great.
Every little victory, every little literal step forward. Thank you, Sylvie. That's beautiful. And Sylvie added, the orange dick thinks he's a wit. He's only half right. He's only half right.
That's a good
one.
And
we are at the we passed the top of the third hour of the program. There is a challenge going on. Zed in Iowa who's pondering going either to Washington or Illinois offered to double every $10 contribution this week up to 50 contributions.
Nice.
In other words, that to turn $500 into $1,000.
Wow.
And we are 1175 in a hole.
Mm-hmm.
We have gotten down to we've gotten down to 36 $10 contributions to go. And it would be fantastic if we could. Fantastic? No, it would be a relief if we could just knock that out and not go crawling through the rest of November and ending the month with a $2,000 fundraising hole like it's done for the last 3-4 months. I'm not sure how many. But the PayPal button's at headon.live. And if anybody wants to jump in, know that your $10 will be turned into 20, courtesy of Zed in Iowa. Chloroform bacteria, Flavio says that's the information right-wing media spews as opposed to the coliform bacteria in West Virginia bottled water. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe the maggots. Maybe the maggots were consuming chloroform. It would at least be some kind of an explanation. Oh my God, Kim in New York. New York Times first take on Gabbard's nomination. She sounds great, doesn't she? Hang on, let me see this. My God, this is Greg Sargent wrote. My God, this is what the New York Times first pass at the Tulsi Gabbard news looks like. Treating this as totally normal, just amazing. Again, sane washing.
Yeah.
Here we go. Ms. Gabbard, a former congresswoman who left the Democratic Party, would hold a top job in the administration, overseeing 18 spy agencies. Trump chose Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democratic congresswoman, who became one of his most enthusiastic backers, to serve as the director of national intelligence. Ms. Gabbard, I need to be doing the snotty voice. Ms. Gabbard, a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserve who served in Iraq, has been a longtime critic of the foreign policy establishment. Her nomination is another sign that Mr. Trump intends to give top foreign policy jobs to supporters who are deeply skeptical of the effectiveness of U.S. military intervention abroad. And then they quote Nitwit Nero's announcement. Can I just ask, what good is the New York Times?
I don't know. Not good. What about the Washington Post? I don't know.
Sure, but I mean, at least the New York Times has a good crossword puzzle on Sundays.
True.
I don't know. But Jesus, thanks for that, Kim. No, seriously. And Kim also asked, hey, Roxanne and Tara, I'm curious, are cabinet nominees subject to background investigation? Yes.
Say that again. I missed that.
Our cabinet nominees subject to background investigation.
Yes, but they won't be.
It's the but.
Right.
Because remember when Jared couldn't pass a background information?
He just gave him. Trump can't pass it.
Give him a clearance anyway.
Yes.
Give him a clearance.
Yes, I had to go through security clearance in the military, and he couldn't fucking pass. I could pass it, right? But this piece of shit, he couldn't pass it because they go through your entire life. They go through your finances, your credit. They interview your neighbors. They go back. They
interview your kindergarten teacher.
Yes, they go to your jobs. Everybody, people they knocked on my fucking neighbor's door, and he was like, he rang the bell. He's like, why are federal agents coming to my door and asking about you? And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. It's security clearance, whatever. But that's what they do. They do that. It's not just like, hey, how you doing? It's not like what Trump did when he pulled all the FDA inspectors off the fucking slaughterhouse murder line. When then they call and they say, any shit in the in the food supply? No, all good. Nothing to see here. You know, they don't self-report. They go and they ask and they go through everything. So, but there's no way. That's why there is no way. That's why we haven't seen his tax returns. He's a goddamn traitor. As we see, he has no allegiance to the United States. We're just unlucky enough for him to be born here.
Are we back? I'm just wondering, are we back? Because this was something that got bandied about. I don't know if over on Tarabuster, but certainly on the Horn. We had several conversations bandying back and forth with some people thinking that he was a made man.
Who, Trump? He's made man. Yeah. Now he wants. I guess he would love
or
that.
That he somehow had some sort of CIA cover because he'd been an asset or double agent or.
No, he's a traitor.
I think so too.
No, he's a traitor. If he's working for anybody, it's Putin. Like Michael Flynn, and who else was. All of these people in the Trump administration that are foreign agents that never disclosed it. There was a few of them who, and, working for, they're not working for like, Canada.
And by the way, while we're talking, since, Matt Gaetz has apparently been the primary source of conversation this evening, here's another thing. Remember, his previous attorney general, who bailed on him after January 6th, Bill Barr to prosecution, was the one who put the kibosh on the Egyptian investigation, the $10 million bribe.
Wow, right. That's right.
There has been some grumbling that investigation should be restarted.
Huh.
Well, no, that is not going to happen. And in fact, an attorney general, Mutt Guts, would in fact pursue the people who actually dug up the information. Mm-hmm. I need to send a couple of thank yous out. Thank you to Frank and thank you to Karen jumping in on Zed's challenge. So 15 of those slots are met. The next one will be 34. If we could get down to even halfway done, 10 more at $10 a piece that would take us down to 25, and we would have a fighting chance to meet the challenge. I'm not kidding. The bills are piled up and waiting. The middle of the month. The internet burped here last night. I was like, oh, fuck, no.
What?
But it was an internet burp. It wasn't me being, it wasn't them cutting me off. So, but that's imminent. And frankly, all this shit is expensive.
Yes. Costs money. It makes you gotta.
We have the most expensive electricity in the United States because it's all coal fried. The wind doesn't cost anything. Coal does. Mm-hmm. So that's that's what we're up against. But we're up against it every month. It's incredibly stressful.
What is the? I'll post it in the chat here. Where's your thing here? Head on.
Yeah, headon.live.
And then the contribution, you can see it. Yeah, okay. For anyone who's listening, if you want to see us, we're at youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster, and you can see Robyn and I shooting the shit about the last days of the American Republic. Or maybe not.
I think isn't that no? I mean, hasn't that already happened, or did that happen on January?
No, it's 20? Happened. It's happened, but it's. I wish it would just start already. That's how I feel. It's like, look, can we just fucking get it over with, And I mean, it's gonna be a long ass 4 years, really. So I don't know. I'm really absolutely flabbergasted how. That's, the first time in 2016 I was upset because I guess I was in a bit of denial and delusion that my country wasn't as racist as it is. And that was very depressing. And then I thought, wow, for this time, I'm like, this country is truly lost. That's how I feel. That we, because I say it all the time, it takes a level of decency, maturity. Well, really, it takes a level of maturity to function in a free democratic society, because you have to be able to, especially, our society, because it is a multiracial society, right? And you have to be able to have the level of maturity to share, and to understand what this thing is.
And you have to have a passing curiosity in how it works.
Right.
And who's pulling the levers.
Yep.
And what the system is about.
Yes.
Because democracy, or even a republic based upon democratic principles, because the little maggot weirdos, the right wingers, are so weird. This is not a democracy. But in order to have that, in order to engage in self-rule,
yes,
you have to have an interest not just in self, but in your fellow citizens.
Exactly.
It is easy, Tara. It is easy to live under authoritarian rule. It's easy to live under fascism. All you have to do is keep your head down and hope they don't come for you.
Yes.
And hope that your neighbor doesn't narc on you for not properly wearing your Trump paraphernalia.
Right. Yep.
It's easy.
Yep.
And what the people who voted for Trump want is easy.
Yes.
They just want to do their thing. They want to drink their beer. They want to watch their NASCAR. They want to go shoot their AR-15s. They want to sell. They want to buy eggs in Malta for 3 cents and sell them in Pianosa for 1 cent, and everybody has a share and everybody makes a profit.
Right. They want to have a beer with Elon Musk in their fucking delusions.
Yeah. Well, in his case, maybe some catamine.
Right.
But they don't want to do any of that.
Mm-mm.
And as far as Gates is concerned, there's a CNN reported that he chose Gates. This was according to Caitlin Collins. He chose Gates because he really hated the other alternatives he was given, and one of the people that interviewed with him was, in Collins' words, one of them was described as disastrous, and he didn't like any of them.
Oh, really? Do we know who they are?
Nah, she didn't know. She wouldn't give it up, or she didn't know herself. But I do want to go back to Pete Hegseth for a couple of reasons.
Yeah. The secretary. Who is he? He's the Fox host who is Secretary of Defense. Yeah, will be.
Yeah. Pete Hegseth. Well, let me back up. You remember how the maggots disparaged the 20 years of loyal service Governor Tim Walz gave to the country and Minnesota in the National Guard? Remember that?
Yes.
Well, Pete Hegseth has never been regular military, regular army, regular anything.
Okay. So he's going to be Secretary of Defense.
He, like you, was a guardsman.
Mm-hmm.
And he was deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. I don't know what he did. But he certainly doesn't have any 20 years of military experience.
Right. Well, different rules, so.
But he's out there running his mouth about how, he's okay with women flying combat missions, but women have to be pulled out of ground combat because it's bad for the readiness and morale of the infantry, whatever.
Give me a break. It's bad for him. He's little tiny mind. So yeah.
No, it's not his mind. It gives his tiny little pee-pee a sad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is with all these fools.
Yes. They want to feel superior. Right.
They just have sad little pee-pees that they're afraid are going to fall off.
Right.
Because of girl cooties.
Mm-hmm. Might make them sad, exactly, and flaccid.
And one other thing to bear in mind, the single largest employer of trans people in the entire United States is?
The military?
Uh-huh.
That doesn't surprise me.
There's a lot of trans people in the military.
Yeah, because they got something to prove, probably, and they.
Yeah, or I mean, a lot of I've seen. I mean, this is anecdotal, but I've seen trans women who have been in the military say, I went into the military trying to avoid my fundamental nature, and I thought if I would just immerse myself in macho masculine culture, I'd be okay. Right. It didn't work. Never works. I don't care if you run with the bulls in Pamplona. It doesn't work.
Nope.
But, of course, he wants to purge all of those people, too. And, again, just to point this out, Nitwit Nero was so proud in his last term when he, I created the Space Force. I created Space Force. Space Force was my idea.
Oh, Jesus, help
us.
Well,
most of Space Force is...
It's like internet stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And a
like
shit
IT.
ton... Yeah, a shit ton of Space Force personnel are trans.
Oh, wow. Really?
And a lot, and probably a majority of them are trans women.
Holy shit.
And so he will gut Space Force.
He's going to gut the Space Force?
Yeah, if he purges trans people from the military.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's going to be tough because they're already having a hard enough time to recruiting. And among the other things that they're talking about, and Hegseth wants to do, is to eliminate abortion coverage for women in the military.
Fuck you. Oh my God. It's always making things harder for people, right? It's never opening things up or bringing understanding, compassion, freedom.
I mean, and yet
it's always making it worse.
And these assholes are such Israel fetishists. And the IDF, the mighty IDF, has a lot of, women are conscripted alongside men. And they do. They fetishize the IDF. They're the greatest military.
Right.
And, yeah.
No, it's not. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. That's what's so exhausting about it, because we see all the time. It does not make sense. It's sort of like when I was in the military and I was under Don't Ask, Don't Tell at the time. And when they were our allies, our closest allies are the English, right? And there were gays in the military openly serving, and it was never a problem for their unit cohesion or morale and whatnot. But it's only a problem when because they make it a problem. But it doesn't have to make sense. That's what's so tedious and tiresome about this timeline that we're on, because it doesn't make sense. Any of this makes no sense, because all you got to do is play the game, put somebody else in their shoes. What if this were, what if it were Harris who picked, let's say, I don't know, Rachel Maddow to be secretary or FCC chair or something, you know what I mean? Like, just pulled her out of MSNBC, where he's pulling this guy off of Fox. He saw him on Fox, he likes him. That's it, And this is a kook, a crackpot, but that is a appealing quality to them too, because the other thing that I say all the time too, because the Democrats need to. I wish they would start saying this, because, when they're operating under annoying half the country, what part of patriotic does that fall under? You're such a patriot. You're drinking the tears of your fellow Americans. You want to trigger people. Like, that's why because, I mean, are you an adult or an adolescent schoolyard bully troll?
Infant, yeah,
right.
Toddler. toddler.
And that's, Democrats never say that. They never call it out for what it is. It's really, and this is part of the problem too, why the Democrats, I believe, because people want those, they want a leader who seems to fight for them. And Democrats are too busy explaining. And as we see, it doesn't matter what you do, clearly. It matters what you say you do and how you say it. So, but Democrats, to me, it feels like they have more of an interest in making the Republicans seem normal than the Republicans themselves, really. And they're like Biden, this is bipartisan. He's always touting how bipartisan everything is. I did this, we passed infrastructure. It's just going to happen. It's all just kicking in right now, bipartisan. It's a bipartisan. Who fucking cares? Nobody votes for people because they're going to do a bipartisan bill. It doesn't matter. They want you to improve their lives. And the problem with Biden, he's been a great president. He's handled a lot of issues that the traitor left him. And I think, the problem really is that he wasn't able to communicate it. And, and partly because the Democrats, for whatever reason, they don't seem to fight, even though we're like on the right side of history. I know it's really hard, No.
I mean, it's like when these confirmation hearings come up, if he doesn't just recess them in.
Right. Well, that's what he wants to do, because the adulting is hard. Democracy requires maturity. It requires compromise. It's he doesn't want to.
He hates John Thune because John Thune is Moscow Mitch's boy. And so to emasculate John Thune would be
to go around.
I don't know if it's the primary or the secondary goal.
Right. Sure. Primary, probably. Well, it is the primary. You're right.
Because everything has something to do with his notion of being, his very insecure notion of being some sort of sexual dominant.
Right. You're right. Yep.
I mean, and look, look at all that daddy bullshit from Tucker Carlson a week or so ago.
Yeah, right. Well, this how do you pronounce it? Hegseth? He hasn't washed his hands in 10 years because he doesn't believe in germs. I'm sure you saw that, right?
Yeah.
These people are fucking weird. They're weird.
Well, in point of fact, they got into a bit of a Donnybrook over on Chicken Noodle News over this. They've got this right-wing creep named Scott Jennings, who is their, I guess he's their, they've always had some sort of right-wing asshole, Buchanan, Tucker Carlson, and now this asshat Scott Jennings got into it with another commenter there, because again, this really doesn't have much in the way of relevance, but Carrie Champion was talking about the nomination, and Scott Jennings was there to oppose her. And, this isn't actually news. This is just Crossfire with a different name. But Scott Jennings is paid to say obnoxious things. And this is what that sounded like.
No question. I mean, that is going to be a very problematic and an already pretty combustible situation in the Middle East.
Yes, I imagine that Netanyahu is quite pleased with this pick. And I think that this pick kind of confirms many people's fear about what a Trump administration would bring for hopes of peace in that region, and for hopes that there might be a ceasefire. And those who were afraid that what we're seeing is part of a larger attempt to take the land that is already being disputed. So I imagine, there are certain people who are very happy with that pick. I think that, I think, Carl, you kind of touched on this. When I think about just the day and we look at the appointments of those who allegedly might be up for appointment, I think that he is making good on all of his promises. One thing about Donald Trump that I find very interesting, in fact, you may disagree, which is fine. I don't necessarily know if acumen is top of mind when picking these people. And what I mean by that is I believe, acumen. And I have a random story, but very true. I believe he more so cares about what people look like and sound like. Enter our man who is a Fox News host who is now Secretary of Defense. So I don't understand that. I don't. One second.
I think you're making a good point.
And for him, it's most important for it to be showman, and it's also loyalty, and it's what you need to say, and you need to be on board. He's making good on all of his promises. I don't feel like anybody is saying what this is. I feel like we're in the Twilight Zone. I think this is bizarre.
Which person doesn't have acumen?
For his mustache.
Which person doesn't have acumen?
I don't believe that your Fox News host is going to be the person that you just as we read a moment ago. Someone said, "Wow, this is the person."
Military record not meaning anything to you? Does his bronze
military record?
Harvard degree?
Let me tell you, I've done a lot of things.
What?
You want to pit me in I've been in a couple of school fights. I could do something too if you want that to be the case. If you're saying
you said he doesn't have acumen.
I don't believe that he does. I don't believe that anyone. And if you also look at Donald Trump, I also don't think that he has acumen. But what we have here today is the president of the United States.
I know.
We have what America gets, what America deserves.
Let's look at the three beneficiaries of
I
the
agree.
election as reflected in these appointments in part, and that is
Carl Bernstein. Okay.
Well, this guy, he was removed from Biden's National Guard detail, apparently, when he was during the inauguration, in fact, because I'm just reading it now, I can't say his name for some word. Hexa, it's some words don't want to come out of my mouth. So he was part of 12, or they're saying, I guess they did background checks on the detail, and he had ties to 12 right-wing militia groups, and had made extremist posts online. That's who he is, and he's also, of course, an anti-Muslim bigot. He is, what else? He says that the separation of church and state is not in the Constitution. And he said, for the record, Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion. Oh, no, that's not him. That's the Constitution. I thought that was that was a quote. He was
silly
gonna,
Tara,
silly me. No, I thought that he was like going to disparage it. No, that's the quote of the actual for the record, and so what else? He said that Democrats are rooting for COVID-19, and COVID-19, of course, is nothing to worry about, even though, now over 1.2 million Americans have died from it. And what else? Oh, yes, it came to, it's just a laundry list of outrages.
You mentioned his awful tweet, social media presence, whatever. It just occurred to me, what a pity that we won't have Joe Manchin go to the Manchin born in the Senate for his confirmation hearing, because Joe could get righteously outraged about the mean tweet.
Right, you're right. That's so
because
true.
I'm pretty sure he ran off a couple of darker skinned people who were nominees for mean tweet.
Oh my God. Did you see, speaking of, I'm thinking of the media and being mean, but did you see Donnie Deutsch the other day on one of the MSNBC shows? And he was really out, doing his take on why the Democrats lost, and he blamed AOC. This guy's got like such a bug up his ass about AOC. He's and what he, but what he's
not a bug. It's not a bug.
Right.
It's the crutch.
It's something. But he says if you just Google it, so many of his tirades are against AOC. And this is what I feared, actually. That's why I'm bringing it up, because he said that the Democrats, if the Democrats lost because of AOC, because she asked her constituents, and I am no longer a constituent of AOC, by the way. They redistricted
Oh, really?
me. Yeah.
I said yesterday that you were. So
I
I
used
stand
to
corrected.
be. They redistrict after the census. We were redistricted, and she's not my representative anymore. So I don't know.
Hey, man.
Yeah, no, I was like annoyed when that happened because she's a good representative, not just because like I like her, but she's actually very good. Like you see her in the district, and she's a presence and does and like answers the phone, and not her herself, like her staff, and they're very responsive. So, which is more than you can say for the Republicans, like for real.
Yeah, and in fact, I read. I think it was yesterday. I read some of the responses she got when she did that. If you voted for Trump and voted for me, tell me why.
It.
I don't want to judge you. This is not a judgment.
She wanted to know why.
I just want to learn. And frankly, it was like dropping acid.
Really?
The response is, "Oh yeah, I feel like you're both for the people."
Right. I mean, that's the scam. That.
Yeah.
These people are being sold.
But it's now the election loss is AOC's fault, according to Donnie.
Yes, and that's what, which I found ironic, because then they were discussing that AOC had done this, not scientific poll of people who voted for her, and also Trump, trying to understand it, and somebody mentioned, yes, that's what they said. That, I think you're both like outsiders fighting for the people, and Donnie Deutsch said that he thinks, the Democrats, they better stop listening to the AOCs of the Democratic Party, because that's why we lost, because of AOC. And for her, for example, he was going on about how she stopped, she was one of the, not her solely, stopped Amazon from building one of its warehouses, but
one of its worker abuse centers.
Exactly, and that's what I fucking really irritated me, because they go, as if any whatever trickled down fucking indentured servitude is we should all be grateful for. What Amazon wanted was they wanted blood, and they wanted us to pay for the price of their of admission. They didn't want to pay any taxes for. I don't think it was indefinite. They would pay no taxes to the city or the community, and one of the stipulations was that the workers would never form a union. It would be completely barred from union organizing ever and ever. Amen. And it was so one-sided to Amazon. It was like ridiculous. It was an abuse factory, like you say.
Yeah.
So and they leave that out of the conversation. Of course, Donnie Deutsch was like, she stopped Amazon. Oh, thank you, my lord, because not all of us are lucky, or not, or I guess we're not all as ambitious or as talented.
Some of us don't have dreams of working for a guy who builds dick rockets.
Right. But we're not as we didn't pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and inherit our daddy's advertising agency.
Donnie Deutsch wants to be a Republican so bad.
I know, but it's like
I'm just grateful to hear that he was gooning on AOC for a little bit, because that meant that us transies got a little bit of a break.
Right.
That shit has been disgusting.
I know. Right. But he's supposed to be this brand genius, this branding wizard who is always wrong. Yeah, he always gets it wrong.
What has he ever done? Well, what does he
What's
do?
he branding? He has an advertising. I know. What is his job? He inherited his daddy's advertising agency. I actually don't even know if it's actually in existence anymore.
Did he invent the name for Post-it notes? I mean, did he copyright the phrase "new and improved"?
Well, they're always asking him, well, as our branding wizard, what is he? I'm just looking it up. if he is actually if he has this advertising agency anymore. He's a former chairman of Deutsch Inc., a major advertising agency he transformed into a billion-dollar business after taking it over from his father, David Deutsch, in 1989. He became renowned for its innovative advertising campaigns, working with high-profile clients like Microsoft and Volkswagen. He gained additional fame as a television host. Blah, blah, blah. The big idea.
Is he the guy who came up with Parfitnugan?
I don't know. I don't know.
Microsoft branding Microsoft?
Right.
What?
Right. But it's
was he behind Windows for warehouses?
Yes. He must have been. From his we're not all as fortunate to, inherit our daddy's advertising agency. But he's always bashing on anyone who's in any way progressive. And I don't know if you've noticed that they've, for example...
Oh, they've gone back. Yeah, they've gone back to hippie punching.
Yes, like full bore, saying... And that's what I'm afraid of, because the Democrats are always learning the wrong lessons from anything.
I'm sorry I'm giggling, but it's so true.
It's so true, because...
Again, the water, the pumping... WAPER, and the Democrats say lasagna.
All right. Wow. Right. Yes, it's true, because, it's exactly... That's why I always say I wish they would listen to my show, because it's not about, whatever progressive policies. It's really about how they fight, how they are perceived, because the people really think that, and the Republicans have been successful at branding the Democrats as like wimpy, wusses and feminazis and cuckold men, right? And that's because... Yes, because the Democrats don't fight with passion. That's why, when you're going like, oh, it's bipartisan, we got Republicans here too. As if that gives it some kind of value. Fuck that. Fucking, this is what was getting me pissed. Well, the fact is, the Democrats, okay, you know what? The Democrats need to retake the message without apology. That's why I call my show Unapologetic Liberal Talk. But it's, because, Democrats are always, feels to me, apologizing for being on the right side of history. What they need to do is say, hey, you like your 8-hour work day? Thank not only the unions, but thank the Democrats, really. Because if the Democrats didn't pass the, what was it called? Now it's escaping me. The Fair Standards, the Labor Standards Act, Fair Labor and Standards in 1938. That's where we got the 8-hour workday from. That became across the board. The weekend, that came from the Democrats. You like that? The Democrats shaped the really modern life, what people have come to expect as their birthright, when it didn't come because billionaires felt like trickling it on us and the working class. Quite the opposite. It came from a lot of fight, a lot of struggle, and finally we came to, because first the 8-hour workday was a rallying cry of the socialists, and it was part of the labor movement. And there were only some companies, or some, I think it was the steel, I can't remember, I have to look it up, but one of the major unions they won the right to an 8-hour workday. But it wasn't a whole across the board thing. It was only for this particular industry. And then it became law, the law of the land in 1938 for everybody. And we all just take that for granted. That is government policy, not, Bezos, somebody like Bezos. Could you imagine if we didn't have these regulations? Of course, these people would be working us to death. There would be no weekend. There would be no 8-hour workday. We would never have enjoyed that, as simply a fact of life. And people don't even realize that. They don't understand that. And the Democrats, they don't take credit for their wins. Like, for example, during the debate, when what's-his-face, J.D. Vance said that wages went up for the first time under Trump. And we talked about this before. And why Walz sat there silent and not saying, yeah, wages went up because Democrats passed $15 minimum wage laws in blue states in spite of Republican opposition. Republicans have no problem taking credit for Democratic successes, as we see. No. But the Democrats have a hell of a lot of problem taking credit for their own successes. They say they will take credit. They'll say, oh, look, we passed it bipartisanshiply. It's all bipartisan. No, you pass it in spite of Republican obstruction, for fuck's sake. Even though a couple of them come along, so what? The president, Joe Biden, should have had Harris out there. This is what I think. Every goddamn day in front of a factory being built and digging up, the whatever they do with the shovels and the the groundbreaking. They should
the giant scissors.
Yeah, the manufacturing is up in this country now. We're putting money into manufacturing and building infrastructure. He should have went to these, over 80% of the infrastructure bill are going to projects in red states. He should have sent Harris out there saying, look at this. Now, because of your poorly run red state, they do nothing for the people here except pass bathroom bills. Here's all the ridiculous Republican bills, like bathroom bills, Bibles in the classroom, or books, banning books. But here, we got to come in here, Democrats, and rebuild your infrastructure because your representatives do fuck all for you. That's what the Democrats should be doing. And instead, they're like, where the fuck are they?
I'm going to be a little Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm here. When they are in opposition, maybe they will.
Hopefully,
the Democrats seem to be more fierce when they have nothing to win.
True.
They're like the professional wrestler who already knows that they're going to lose that night, so they come out just really barking and growling. And then proceed to get their asses kicked.
Right.
I remember, it was kind of sexist, but way back when Bart Kopp was doing what he did, every time the Democrats did some lily-livered, weak-kneed, pathetic capitulation, he would always put up a photo of like the congressional leadership at the time, and it was Harry Reid and Nancy and a couple of others, and they'd all be there with their elbows locked, wearing pink tutus.
Yes,
and he referred to them
I
as
remember.
The pink tutu Democrat.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about that now, but back then it seemed like. But they do come across as weak and unferocious.
They do, because they don't.
I mean, there's an opportunity coming in these confirmation hearings, Tara. Oh, by the way, I need to say thanks to Balmer Bob and our kind anonymous internet friend. They've joined in on the Fed challenge from Iowegia. So we are getting down close to the 30 number. We're 30. The next one will be 32. But they are so addicted to decorum.
Yes.
They don't, and collegiality, and not engaging in personality.
That's it. Acting like adults. Like they want to adult for the
And they don't understand that the American people want them to behave like heathen barbarians like their opponents do.
Yeah.
Once
they want them to fight. That's it.
Once again, I've got a clip.
Oh, good.
The House Oversight Committee met today, had a hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a hearing on the defense issues, Defense Department issues. And they were told not to talk about the Pentagon's program to gather data on what are now referred to as UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomenon.
Oh, shit.
Well, Beetlejuicy Bobert, Andy Smurf, got her moment in the sun. And this is what happened. It'll take a second. I'm not going to add. Again, she was warned not to talk about these things. So what did she do? She talked about them.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Now that we have all been cautioned in this committee hearing that the mention of Pentagon's immaculate constellation program could put us on a list, well, I already find myself on many lists, I'm sure. So I speak my mind often, so why not just keep
Clanny
going
Granny
with
has
it?
a new dye job.
May as well just go all out
Who?
and say it. The Earth is
Clanny
flat,
Granny.
birds are government drones, and was never set on foot on the moon, and Joe Biden received 81 million votes in the 2020 elections. So let's just see how many lists we could get on here today. But Mr. Schellenberger, I wanted to ask you, I think I understand from this hearing that you would agree that classifying information like this is not in the best interest of the people. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, with the caveat that, of course, I would support classification necessary to protect the secret potential national security, but I think it's pretty obvious that there's overclassification.
Even he can't agree with her. But the point here is that Handy Smurf, who was warned not to. It's not that she was warned not to talk about this by the Pentagon. I mean, they did. She was warned by her own Republican committee leadership not to.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And she gave him one of these and immediately started talking about it. And there will be no consequence.
Right. Well, there's
consequences
are for Democrats, you understand?
Right.
So,
but
like
Emery and Marbeline
peaceful
sitting in their
transfer of power.
matching Barca loungers in their single wide down at the Ballerina Swan Lake Trailer Court and Country Club, like, God damn it, I like her. Ain't nobody gonna tell her what to do. And we have tremendous opportunities coming our way in these confirmation hearings. We can if there was somebody in the Senate in, say, Judiciary or Defense, the various places where these loonies will have their confirmation hearings. We had somebody with a really sharp wit who could just sit there for 5 minutes and eat them alive with leading questions, like a really good lawyer. Isn't it true, Mr. Hegseth, that you claim not to have washed your hands for 10 years because you don't believe in germs? Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Isn't it true, Mr. Hegseth, that, pick one, that on Fox in your job on Fox News, you said that there's a race of men who live in the trees and you're for tough legislation. Isn't it true that you said that, Mr. Hegseth? And do it with every one of these fucking clowns. Make them squirm, make them throw fits, make them cry like they made Brett Kavanaugh cry.
Oh God.
I mean, do you have any idea? You can trigger Matt Gaetz with a well-timed snicker. Isn't it true, Mr. Gaetz, that you bragged about doing rails of hard-on pills and drinking Red Bull so you could have sex with women you weren't married to all night long? Isn't that true, Mr. Gaetz? Because that fucker with his Cracker Jack law, that fucker with his Cracker Jack law degree is not going to be able to handle it. And he'll melt. And I want to see some fucking meltdown. Is that okay?
Know. Yeah, I can't wait.
I want to see some of these assholes absolutely come apart at the seams.
Well, it will happen. Who's going to be questioning them? That will make the difference.
Who's going to question him? Let's see. He's going to be AG, so it'll be judiciary, so it'll be Dick Durbin.
Oh, God, he's another one who was fine with, what was that, the lady, he wouldn't, oh, yes, he's fine with, what's his name? What the fuck is wrong with me? Uncle Clarence.
Yeah.
He was, and Uncle Clarence taking bribes and whatnot. He wasn't going to do anything. And what was the other thing? He was, people
I need a job advising some of these fuckwits.
Right.
Okay? And you do it machine gun style. You don't give them a chance to ask. You move from one leading question to the next, 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 and you just leave them in a shambles. And it's like Nitwit Nero. Nobody ever gets close enough to him to ask him an actual hard question.
Right.
Or to make a mockery of him. And mockery, honest to God, mockery is what we need.
Yes. Well,
anybody who's ever read Rules for Radicals knows that mockery is one of the strongest tools in the toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are, and what the fuck is tomorrow going to bring? I was reminded by a member of the Horn Family Community Congregation earlier this evening at the beginning of the show that something that I had said back in 2016 was going to be true all over again. And I think at this point it's a law of nature. However weird today has been, no matter how bizarre, tomorrow is going to be weirder still and more bizarre.
Can count on it.
And all we can do is screw our courage to the sticking place. And I don't know. Take a healthy huff of ether and wait for the bats and go for it.
Well, I don't know. I just wonder, if we'll ever dig ourselves out of it, because the damage that they're going to do will be immense. And because here's the thing, the Democrats are also swimming in the corroded money and politics pool, and this is why I believe they're not fierce enough to meet this moment. They can't defend their big moneyed masters, so they nibble around the edges of what needs to be done, and thereby creating the economic distress. And don't get me wrong, it's not just economic distress, that because the Republicans exploit it, and because the whole thing, part of the frustration of the last 4 years was listening to the media go on about how the economy was on the doing well and everything's coming back, but people just don't feel it, as if that's a legitimate point of view.
And the funny thing is, over in their commentariat, people like Little Benny Dry Wife Shapiro says, facts don't care about your feelings.
Yes, right. But feelings certainly trump facts. No pun intended. Because one of the things...
I feel my eggs are too expensive.
Yeah, I feel everything is going to shit. And I feel that there's a recession. That's what they said. They interviewed people in the exit polls, and most of the Republicans thought we were in a recession, which we are not. And trust me, it's gonna be so irritating, because as soon as the con man swears in, lies, takes the oath to the Constitution that he will immediately violate, but he will start taking credit for the amazing rebound of the economy, just like in the first administration, where he was handed an economy on the up, and there was nothing wrong. We were not in a recession. The economy is doing well, and he started to say how horrible it was, as if he was handed the Great Depression or something, and that's not anywhere near the truth. So as soon as he takes the oath, he's going to start saying how great he's doing with the inflation. That's the other thing that fucking annoys me about Democrats. That's what the Democrats should have said. I know people don't feel it, but the fact is, just fucking hammer it home and shame the goddamn media into compliance and say, stop reporting, stop wasting everybody's time with what they feel, and report the facts and watch everything catch up. Because the fact is, what they should have done is say, we're dealing with, and the other thing actually is that the Democrats never point out that Fox News is a propaganda channel that had to pay the largest fine in American history for lying to people. That falls by the wayside. They should have hammered that home all the time because they are busy delegitimizing.
That wouldn't be cricket now, would it?
Exactly.
It wouldn't be cricket at all.
Exactly, because the Republicans are busy delegitimizing actual media that has standards that they abide by, and if they get something wrong, they make a correction. Unlike Fox News, which is a propaganda channel that not only paid these fines for lying to people, but also we know for years that people who watch Fox News are less informed than those who watch no news at all. They should have constantly hammered that home. Right. Hammered it home. Not only do they are less informed, they're malinformed. So Fox News is a propaganda channel. And then when the Justice Department, or I think one of the I can't remember, the FBI, when it came out recently that these right-wing propagandists, Tim Pool and some of these other right-wing bros were literally being funded by the Kremlin, that why the Democrats didn't constantly harp on that and then mock, and of course they mentioned Tucker Carlson when he went to Russia and was like fawning over their supermarkets and right out of any, because America sucks. Really, look at how great Russia. I mean, it was just so embarrassing. But they mentioned that in the report that came out that that this pundit was literally doing Putin's bidding and spreading propaganda. So why the Democrats didn't constantly remind the American people of that? Because they're not falsely delegitimizing the news that they're consuming. They are warning them, and that which should have been followed with. And anyone who's actually a patriot should be forewarned that why would the Kremlin be so invested in manipulating American media? And you should say,
we come back to what I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation. What are the obligations that this Russian advisor to Putin says Trump owes? You're not going to ask that?
Right.
No, because
exactly.
they'll say, oh, there they go again.
Right.
Russia.
Exactly. But then, and they have no answer for Russia, right? He's always like, Russia, because that comes from fucking the Brady Bunch, Masha. Russia. It's always Russia. I mean, this is what a doltard this fucking guy is, He's just this stupid, oh, God, this horrible person who...
Dipshit.
Yeah, he's a dipshit. He's a fucking dullard who gets he's informed by the Brady Bunch, I mean, he knows history by memes. He's just a fucking idiot. I know. And so that he's always going, oh, see, it was false. But the Democrats had no response to that. It was silence, as if the fucking con man was right.
That was a real good comeback, Donald.
Yeah,
I guess
right.
You gotta.
And they're just never. It's almost as if they expect too much of the American people. They'll figure out that that's bullshit. No, they won't. You have to. Oh, he's always like Russia. Well, the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee did its own investigation, and here it is. Fucking Russia wanted to. They interfered in the election and to get Traitor Trump goddamn elected. And also for Russia hoax, certainly are a lot of people in prison right now for it, because, you know, it's not a hoax. I mean, they never came back and explained the truth. So
No,
therefore,
they didn't.
the lie lays in the middle of the floor like a fucking stench and stinks up the place, and then these idiots think it's true. I even had some piece of shit, so-called friend, I guess he's like an acquaintance, that on my Facebook, and he's obviously a Trump NZ, and he was saying things, you know, I was like posting shit, whatever, and about, you know, we're welcome to hell, and he said, oh, you know, basically that they were lawfare. They were after him for 4 years for all these, you know, I mean, okay, well, poor thing. Why can't we just allow him to call up the Secretary of State of Georgia and say, find me the votes I need to win, or send a mob to the Capitol to stop the peaceful transfer of power, or, you know, steal classified documents to wave around at your donors and then hide them from the National Archives, moving them from storage
by the way, little piece of information. You remember when he showed the classified documents to the Australian businessman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That motherfucker is being allowed to immigrate to the United States.
Of course.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yes,
Isn't it beautiful?
it is. It's totally, yeah. Oh, well, it's not unexpected.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Right.
Well, we've reached the end of the program.
All right.
You know how it is when we get together.
I know.
The time flies.
It certainly does. It certainly.
But I'm
does.
like I don't know. I think everybody else does too. I'm liking this little once a week Super Friends broadcast.
I do. What do you guys think, people on the chat? And thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Thank you, Elise, for your super chat. And I just want to mention before we go one thing about, you know, the manufacturing. One of the things that the, you know, in AOC's unscientific poll, they asked, you know, and they said that, well, respondents felt that both AOC and Trump were cared about the working class, and would bring back manufacturing and jobs
and moral value.
Right. But the fact is, this is what pisses me off, and there's fake news right there. When Trump was in office, he lost manufacturing jobs. He overall
he lost more jobs than any president since Hoover.
Yes, it's exactly the worst job record since Herbert Hoover, and there was a net loss of nearly 50,000 manufacturing jobs. And under Biden, the Biden-Harris administration, there has been a significant increase in manufacturing jobs. As of September, 729,000 manufacturing jobs have been added into, you know, and how many of these fucking traitors voted for Traitor Trump? Shame on them. Shame on them.
The ones I really reserve my ire for are the union members.
Yes, shame on them. Shame on them all. Shame on them. Shame.
I hope the president of the Teamsters gets bounced out on his ass at the first chance.
Oh yes.
That sick, greasy piece of shit.
Yep.
O'Brien. Yep. Yeah, he was going to go across the table at Mark Wayne Mullen.
Oh, I remember that. What an embarrassment.
And then they had a bromance.
Yeah, right. They're like,
they're bromantically involved now.
Oh, really?
Oh,
what?
yeah.
What?
They after they were you know, they got into it. It's how it works.
Oh, that's what happens.
They get into a dick measuring contest.
Right, and then they get down.
And then they decide that they've both got humongous schlongs, and they're really manly men, and then they have a bromance, and they're buddies now.
Yes.
And they're going to go and, I don't know, shoot Bambi or something together. I'm just
no, I know. That's what they think is, you know, what you do with your free time. You go murder beautiful animals, right? And that makes you a man, I guess, or it makes you a Republican or something, where you don't care about anybody else but yourself.
Well, they're not exactly the same thing now, are they?
Yeah, true. But it's just, I remember that. What an embarrassment. This is what we have to look forward to. An absolute embarrassment. You stand yourself. You get your ass up. You get your ass up. Remember? And I remember Bernie going, excuse me. You're a senator.
This is the Senate of the United States.
Yeah,
you will behave like adults.
Right. God help us. Bernie, help us.
You're our only hope.
Christ, right? Bernie and AOC, help us.
Yeah, when I was talking about somebody who could really bring the heat and cross-examine the fuck out of some of these losers, you know who popped into my mind?
Who?
Al Franken.
I know, me too, but he's not a. That's what I was
No, but
say.
I mean, it's like, gee, I wonder why we had to get rid of him.
That's the Democrats for you, because he took a stupid picture with. I mean, he was like this on a comedy tour with somebody's boobs. Like, who fucking cares? Who cares? You know, it was a stupid joke, a stupid picture. He's in a comedy tour. Whatever.
But then the Democrat, the Republicans said, "Oh, you've got to get rid of him."
And then that's what they do.
He doesn't respect women.
He did. He took a stupid picture in a comedy tour.
And the Democrats said, "Yes, we
will. We get rid of him." I mean, it's like that's what Democrats do. The different rules for Democrats. Meanwhile, these fuckers like go out and they have affairs. They come back to standing ovations in the well of the Senate in the House. Right? It's so true. Right?
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
And it's sexist as hell and screwed. And now we've got Corey Lewandowski, who abuses women in bars.
Yep.
Who is back in the good graces of Daddy, and he's going to be in the White House there talking to Trump all the time.
Yep.
So naturally, his girlfriend had to have a job in the government, and now Kristi Noem is going to be Homeland Security.
Oh God. See, all you had to do is shoot a dog and a goat, and without.
Thank you for mentioning the goat. That poor goat. Everybody blows off the goat.
I know. Well, I know. I don't blow off the goat. I like the goat. The poor goat.
Yeah.
So fucking. I hate that bitch.
Don't get me started on that.
I know.
There's a lady down the road who raises goats, and they're so freaking.
They are amazing. They're the cutest little things, and then she was like, "Oh, it chased." And it was like she's coming up with a post excuse for why she had to murder it, and she's like, "Oh, it chased my kids, and it smelled." Well, that's your fault, bitch. What were your kids doing in the pen with it? They were probably taunting it, and maybe it was like, get the hell away from it. And if it smells, that's because you are a neglectful bitch. So, but it's easier to shoot it in the head. She said, I have to make hard decisions. Well, maybe do the hard thing and hose the goddamn goat down once in a while and treat it like a living creature, not a fucking nothing. Oh, I hate these people.
I know, with the heat of 1,000 suns.
I know.
Love you, Tara.
All right, Robyn.
Let's see if we can do. Let's see if we can do this next week.
All right, my friend.
Maybe it's turning into a thing.
I hope so. I hope. I need something to keep me sane. I was very depressed, and I didn't feel like doing a show, so that's why I asked you too, because I knew I would be able to get through it with you. But I'm really not doing well. So, but everybody, but if you're a right winger, drink my tears, right? They're so fucked up. I hate them. Well, I'm not trying to drink their tears. I just want them to have health care, But whatever, you get what's coming to you. You get what. I'm not gonna have any tears when government efficiency takes their job away. I'll have tears for the people who didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
But not for them. Not for them. All right, Robyn. I love you.
Right.
I'll talk to you later.
You take care, Tara.
Bye.
Bye.
See you soon. All right, everybody. It's just you and I now. How are you? How's everybody? All right, listen, I'm going to hang it up tonight because I need to go get unconscious. I mean, it's very early for me. It's only 8 p.m. here in Eastern Standard Time. But I feel like you feel, I think. I feel like I have this knot in my stomach and the weight of impending doom. Really, that's how I feel when I wake up in the morning. It's sort of like I actually, I don't remember. Maybe I was telling Robyn this. It reminded me of, I mean, weirdly enough, when my parents died. I know that's how bad it is. And, you know, if anybody, I'm sure we've all had crushing heartache and grief. I know I have. So, but I remember waking up and, like, for 1 second, you don't remember, you forget, and then it hits you. Oh, shit! You know, this thing happened, and it's back. You're back. You're back to the crushing weight of doom. So that's how I feel. I feel like doom is on the horizon. And I also feel a sense of, well, I think it's been fluctuating from anger to depression to rage. And eventually I will I'll settle on rage, I think, because it's probably safer than depression and doom. But I do feel the sense of rage against the people who voted this in. I really have a low opinion of them. I feel a sense of betrayal, you know, and also a real feeling of disappointment, too. I think also, as I'm processing it, I feel kind of like, I feel like I've also, it's sort of like back in 2016, the realization that the country is really as racist as I thought we had overcome, but we didn't. And so now it feels like even worse. Like, oh wow, I thought we were better than this. That's part of the disappointment. Like, I really thought better of this country. And then I also feel a sense of, like, fuck you, I served this country in uniform, and that's part of, I feel the sense of betrayal, because, and also a naivete, I have to say, to myself, to think that I actually believed that we were fighting for the Constitution. Feels like I really was duped. All of the things that we learned as children, too, like no one is above the law, right? Anyone can be president. No. I feel like, no, that's not true. No one is above the law. No, we're not above the law, but Traitor Trump is above the law. There's one person above the law in this country, and it's the most disgusting, horrible excuse for a human with absolutely no redeeming qualities that we have ever had to endure. Someone who has no business being anywhere near the halls of power, who couldn't be trusted to watch your fucking goldfish on a weekend away. For real. Somebody who is only out for himself. And the fact that so many people think he's fighting for them, when all evidence is to the contrary. How stupid. How stupid are these people? And I'm supposed to be cool with that? Can't we all just get along? No, we can't. We cannot just get along. Fascism is a deal breaker. To me. When you cross that line, what excuse do you have? In fact, one of these, I was going to say, and I don't think I finished it, but with one of these fuckers was posting on my on my Facebook because I was, posting shit about how everything sucks. And Traitor Trump is a con man, and shame on you, right? And, one of these assholes, an acquaintance of mine who is, I don't know how they became my Facebook friend, but he started posting how, Traitor Trump was being there was lawfare against Traitor Trump. They hounded and harassed this poor put upon con man. And I went back at him and said, oh, yes, the poor thing. Why couldn't he just steal classified documents and, send a mob to the Capitol, call the Secretary of State of Georgia and say, I need you to find me the votes to win, or falsify business documents to cover up the payment of porn star who he underwhelmed with his smaller than average mushroom while his third trophy wife was home recovering from childbirth. Why couldn't he simply just get away with these crimes without anyone pestering him with the legality of it all? And the guy's response was something about like, your mother, your mother sucks too. This is what this grown-ass man said, right? And guess what? I'm not surprised. Your mother said something. I don't remember. And, it was about my mother. Your mother sucks, too. This is a grown-up. A fucking somebody in their 50s with 2 kids. Posts to the facts of the case. Your mother sucks too. I mean, besides the fact that it's completely uninteresting and not funny. I mean, I said, well, I'm surprised you didn't go with horse face or fat pig. Because this is what they've done to this country. They've so dragged us all down into the swill, into the sewer. They don't deserve the Constitution. You see, they're not adult enough for it. They don't deserve a free country because they can't, they just lack the maturity for it. So they throw it away for this juvenile goddamn con man so they could be free to be as stupid and ugly and bring nothing to the table. It's like, and I wrote back, I said, well, I said, I'm surprised you didn't go with horse face or fat pig, but I'm not surprised that this is the only thing you have to say is some stupid juvenile taunt. I feel embarrassed for you, really, but thank you for the illustration of how Republicans, it's everything I've said all along. They lack the maturity to function in a free democratic society. And that's how they behave. That's how they go on in the whole window to the world, right? The internet. Your mother is ugly. Fucking pathetic. Pathetic. They should be embarrassed. But that's the other thing that's so heartbreaking, is that I thought my country was not as embarrassing as they have turned us into. It's embarrassing to have this fucking idiot, this con man. It's embarrassing to be run by Nazis. It's embarrassing for them to simply be allowed to be above the law. There's no law here. We're done. This is not a nation of laws. We have one scumbag who's above the law. And unlucky for us, he's the most lawless parasite going. The most disgusting person. Now, you take anything he's done, said, or will do, and you put a Democrat in its place and watch. Just play that game. You don't have to. It doesn't, it works every time, frankly, because he is allowed to get away with whatever the fuck. I mean, imagine if Harris had pantomimed fellatio on a microphone stand, or on the microphone, not a stand, but the microphone itself. Imagine if President Harris had picked, I don't know, Joe Scarborough or Mika Brzezinski for some role head of an agency in the federal government. It's a fucking joke. And the people, the worst part are the people who excuse it. The people who voted for it. I am done with you. I am done. All of you are irredeemable. You should be ashamed. You'll only be, in my eyes, when this shit is over, finally, maybe one day. I thought it was going to be over now, right? It would be great. The relief of getting this parasite off our body politic for fucking once and for all. And the other thing with the Democrats, you know, the peaceful transfer of power. I'm committed to the peaceful transfer of power. Nobody's pointing out that it's only when the Democrats lose that we have a peaceful transfer of power. It's goddamn pathetic that, you know, they don't even pat themselves on the back for that. But let's keep modeling good behavior for the Republicans and hope they follow suit. Well, let's watch the next 2 years while they're in the majority to see how gracious they all are in their victory. God. Yep. If JD ends up as POTUS, we'll long for the Trump days. You're absolutely right, Jim. He's worse. They're both horrible. But JD Vance is evil, sinister. They're all unfit. They're all the worst. Every single one of them are horrible, horrible, irredeemable people. And what does that say about the people who vote for them? Horrible, irredeemable people voting for fucking people. Why? Because your eggs were $3? You stupid, disgusting disgraces. They're like, oh, you won. Well, Hitler won too, assholes. You dumb bastards. Oh, well, he's gonna make us low taxes. No, he's not. How dumb must you be? I don't feel it. Oh, but they feel they got low taxes? Anybody got low taxes? I did my taxes. Nothing fucking changed. I didn't get some windfall. You stupid bastards. Exactly, Jim says eggs are $5, so let's deport everybody. You dumb bastards. You ugly scumbags. Wait till they get going. I can't wait, frankly. I can't wait to say I told you so. Unfortunately, I feel bad for those who didn't ask for it. A lot of people are going to get hurt. Right. Oh, JD's... Elise says JD's wife said she was a vegetarian at some rally and was booed. Exactly. Well, that's... You know, you can't have compassion. You got to eat fucking animals like a ravenous goddamn wild dog. Or, well, more like a wild pig in the woods. I just kill, not care. Shove all this shit in your gullet. I hope they do. Just eat a lot of shit. Just keep eating. Clog up those arteries. Heart disease is a silent killer. Keep on eating it. Keep on eating all those fucking carcasses, you dulltards. Come here, Boudica. Yes. I need you, Booty. Booty Boo. Here she is. Right? Look how cute. Look at her. She's such a good girl. Look at you, Buddha. There you are. You see you? Look at everybody. Say hello. Booty, booty, boo. Where are you? Oh, sorry, Booty. I just kicked you. Watch out. Booty, no. No. She wants to go behind the computer. Jesus Christ, these people are disgusting, right? I know. And Boudica's gorgeous. She's the best. She's good for my blood pressure. God, these idiots. I have no patience for you. If anybody tells me, oh, yeah, I voted for Trump, I'll be like, I don't know. Get out of my house, I guess? I don't know. That's why I have a suspicion about, like, somebody in my family that voted for... I'm like, no, I don't want to know, because that would be very upsetting. All right, listen, I'm going to go, and let's get back together on Friday. If you can become a patron, please do at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Exactly, Jim. Jim says, I'm not sure how we can compromise with Nazis. We can't. That's where I draw the line. I know it's kind of strange, but you voted for somebody that is a fascist who says Hitler has some good idea or did some good things, and called veterans, people who died for this country, and people who served this country, suckers and losers. Okay? Who goes to a goddamn veteran cemetery or a military cemetery and stands over the grave of a fallen soldier and gives a thumbs up with a grinning ghoul? Who does that? Sick. Disgusting. You know who does that? I'll answer the question. A sociopath who doesn't understand what it means to be an actual human. So that's why it's weird, because they don't know what emotions to go and access. What mimicked emotions should they access at certain times? That's why it often feels off and weird and wrong. Like, no, you don't give a thumbs up and smile like a ghoul over the grave of a fallen soldier. You just don't do that. You don't give a thumbs up holding the picture of someone who's been kidnapped by a terrorist group. You don't fucking hold that picture up with a thumbs up and a smile unless you're goddamn serial killer Israel Keys or something. Some sick bastard who doesn't have human emotions. Who's a sick fucker. And that's who they voted for. A sociopath, a con man, a criminal, a tacky grifter selling baubles and trinkets and magic beans with his fucking face on it for any sucker that will open their wallet for this stupid greed-centered ghost of the Gilded Age with this ghoulish goddamn gaping hole of need and greed that will never be filled. Just pour all your money in there. Pour your money, grab you by the pussy, pour your accolades, pour your anything to make him have some feelings, because he's a fucking fragile little grifter who somewhere in that sick soul, he knows he sucks. I mean, this is a guy who has his own picture is the lock screen on his iPhone. You understand? Who does that? Who does that? Somebody who's very sick. This is a guy with grandchildren, children, a wife, right? He's got a fucking picture of himself. Not his grandkids, not his pets. He doesn't have any pets. Remember these pricks going about, oh, Trump's going to save your cats and dogs. He hates cats and dogs. No, the Democrats, when they were talking about, oh, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. And all the assholes were saving the Russian-produced memes of Trump, the drawings, because there were no pictures of him actually with animals. But the drawings, well, unless they were dead, like Donald Trump Jr., they like to pose with corpses like a serial killer. And, but, there would be pictures of him running with a kitten, of running away from black people, of course. But, that none of the Democrats brought up the fact that Trump, when Pence came to Washington, moved to Washington and moved into the vice president's residence, Trump mocked him mercilessly for bringing his cat. You see? Because the Pences had a cat, and Trump thought that was weak. Oh, but that's fake news, I guess. That's fake news. Which is why the Democrats, who don't know how to fight, they're too busy playing nice and acting like adults, hoping that the sociopathic juveniles will follow suit one day. That's why they, I can't do it alone. I'm just saying, please become a patron all fucking day. And they're like, bipartisan. No, how about you remind the American people who's actually lying to them? Why are you spreading Putin's propaganda? You should be ashamed of yourself. Why are you a dupe of an anti-democratic foreign dictator? Why is that anti-democratic, America-hating foreign dictator so interested in our elections and getting that con man elected? Why would you want to be a useless idiot for that? For Putin. You should be ashamed of yourself. That's what the Democrats should say. Fuck it. Fuck it. Oh, do you think the people who vote for Trump are stupid? Remember that interview on Fox News with Harris? I would never say that. No, I'll say it. You leave that to me. But what you should say is, well, I do feel that they are being deliberately misinformed by a news station that has to pay a largest fine in American history for actually lying to its viewers. So it gives me pause, especially when I read the studies from Business Insider, for example, that concluded that people who watch Fox News are less informed than those who watch no news at all. What the fuck is wrong with saying that? What is wrong with that? With saying that? Because it's the truth. But it's okay. The lie flies around the, what is that? Flies around the world before the truth gets its boots on. So this is where we live. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no room for, can't we all just get along with fascists? I don't think so. No. This is not one of those elections where we all come together and say, oh, well, let's dust ourselves off. We're all Americans. Nope. Yeah, somebody on my Facebook, I'll show you, posted. It won't. Here it is. Yes. We can all disagree and be friends. We can disagree and be friends? No. This is not a simple matter of disagreeing. I don't disagree. It's not disagree. I don't consider voting for an unfit criminal, convicted felon, convicted rapist, fascist who promises to be a dictator a matter of polite disagreement. It's a deal breaker. As it should have been to anyone, to any voter, to any idiot who was even thinking of voting for him. Shame on you. You are a disgrace. You are a disgrace. Exactly, Jim. I don't feel like supporting the concentration camp party. I'm sorry. God. It's not a matter, oh, my eggs, my gas prices. These fucking monsters. I did that. Remember those stupid stickers? I did that. Oh, and then I even, with Biden pointing at the gas prices when they were high, even though, there are many factors that go into this, but these fucking idiots, I know I'm saying the word wrong. People keep like fucking telling me how to pronounce things lately. It's getting on my nerves. No offense. I'm a little bit in a pissy mood. I can barely sometimes talk anyway. And then, what was I saying? Who cares, right? But, oh yeah, so, when the gas prices go down, nobody says shit. Democrats don't say, I did that. Look at that. Blah, blah, blah. But then, these Republicans, they literally would post, I would see that, on Elon Musk's Nazi propaganda outlet, would say things like, when Trump was in office, gas was at $1.29 or whatever it was. And now it's $4, which it isn't, right? But the fact is, oh, great. What a genius. Getting gas down to $1.29. All he had to do was squat in the White House during a once in a goddamn century worldwide pandemic that shut the whole earth down. What a super genius. What a deal maker. What a businessman. All he had to do was just be there, fucking it all up, and at a time when oil was literally trading in the negative. But they're like, oh, gas was $1 and something. They're like, where's your, what are you? Where's your mind? Oh God in heaven. It hurts, the stupid. They hurt me. I mean, it burns my eyes when I see it. Oh, there was all this, and now it's this. You fucking bastards. Who cares? But the pandemic, they just use whatever excuse. They don't say a damn thing about the 1 million dead that he left behind us. Oh, well, that's the pandemic. But they give Biden no free pass, no leeway to get this goddamn country back on track, even though he was left the shit show from Trump. Can't wait to see the disaster that is awaiting us in 4 years when the Democrats get back in, right? What do you think? I mean, I don't even want to ask the question, how low can they go? Because they always surprise me. I thought they hit bottom with George W. Bush. And then I thought they hit bottom with Sarah Palin. And now I thought, damn, then they go and do Traitor Trump. How low can they go? It's, goddamn, you can't get much lower. I guess we can get Donald Trump Jr. next. Oh, God, help us. All right. Listen. Thank you for hanging out. Become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Do all those things. Support the show, maybe, please. Thank you. This is a small, little dinky podcast, but we're here every Friday evening at 8:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you can hang out in the greatest chat room in American history. Thank you, Jim. Jim is always very good. He is a moderator in the chat room. He gives a super chat and works in the chat room, and also gives a lot of good feedback and comments, like, good show. Thanks, Tara. Thank you. I try. I mean, I don't know. I thought, I don't know, let's have a show, right? We need it. I wish there were more people who would get the fucking show. I don't understand. I don't understand where the people's ours. It's okay. I don't care. I don't know. I have to tell myself. Okay, listen. Listen. We will win. We will win eventually. You know what a heartache it is? Knowing that we could have had, what a different country we could be walking into, barreling into right now. A decent country that we could be proud of instead of this clown show. This horrible clown show that is going to be the most corrupt, most disgusting, criminal, awful, I don't know, experience. It's going to be very painful to watch and to be a part of. I just hope that decent, normal people aren't hurt, but they will be. That's the problem. Putin's puppy. In other news, the 3 little pigs voted for the big bad wolf to be the mayor of the woods. Yep. Pretty much. Pretty fucking much. Because they thought he was going to be a wolf for the pigs and the peoples. A real wolf that cares about the pigs. All right, I'll see. Listen, we'll get back together on Friday. I'm sorry, Putin's puppy, but you missed the show. We started early tonight, at around 6, in fact. Which we'll do it again. We're trying to do a simulcast on one day at least a week with Robyn. I think people enjoy that. I hope, right? You like that? Yeah, I think so. And maybe Robyn can open the phones or something next time. We can all have we can call in, have some therapy or something. Oh, God. All right, listen, I got to go. I'm going to go lay down. Maybe I'll go watch The Penguin on HBO, which is pretty good. I like that show. See, I can't even watch news sometimes. I haven't been watching Morning Joe. I can't stomach it. I've been watching, like, true crime, which is not good. That goes to show you where my head is at. It's not good. We're watching documentaries on serial killers to calm down. Oh, Buddha! There you are again. Oh, yes, little booty. Oh, yes, booty. It's okay. Isn't it wonderful, booty, to not know that Trump exists? You lucky little girl. Right? That's why you're so happy. All right. Love you all. I'll see you. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, for your donations and your keeping the show going and keeping the community cats warm and fed. And yeah, we will win. We're on the right side of history. We are. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. That doesn't change. In fact, we need now more than ever. We stick together. We win. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you, patrons. Patreon.com/TaraDevlin. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you, Robyn from headon.live. And thank you, the great Mike Malloy, for being the master. And my name is Tara Devlin. Thank you so much, guys. See you back here 8:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday night. I'll see you soon.